Hi everyone, my name is Aidan from Bali Bodyboarding and you're watching Bodyboard Hacks, where we discuss all things bodyboarding. In this episode, we're going to take a deep dive into one of the hardest things to get right when you're first starting bodyboarding and even as you continue with your bodyboarding, and that's choosing the right set of flippers. 2 weeks ago, we put up a post on our Instagram asking you guys to send us your questions about what issues you've been having with your flippers, what stories you had, and we had an amazing response. So thank you so much for that. It made this more challenging, but a lot more interesting and hopefully a lot more useful for you guys. In the interest of full transparency, guys, I'd just like to let you know that we do sell limited edition flippers here at Bali Bodyboarding. However, by the time we get them up here, if I'm honest, they are kind of expensive, so we don't sell a lot of them. Most people bring their own flippers from home, so this video is impartial and it is based on 15 years of me coaching people how to bodyboard and trying to set them up with the right equipment, and on the responses that we've had from you guys. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get into it and let's talk about how the best way is to size up flippers so that you find the right ones for you. Now, this comes down to one key phrase: comfort is king. It's always worth sacrificing a little bit of power just so that you have the right comfortable pair of flippers that mean that you can stay in the water for as long as possible. As you can see, we've come down here to the Bali Bodyboarding Armory. You can probably see some of our flipper collection up there. As you can see, we've got a huge collection of fins that our guests can come and try and use when they're staying with us. So it's a good way. It's actually the best way for people to try out different types of flippers, get a feel for them, and then see which ones are going to work for them the best. The first thing that you need to get right is the size. If you don't have the size of your flipper correct, then there's no way that that flipper, even if it is the right design, is going to work for you. Now I'm going to show you the best way to get the right size flippers. In front of me I've got 3 sets, and I've got one that's too small, one that's too big, and one that is just right. So with this flipper that's too small, the first thing that you're going to notice is that it's really difficult to put on. The second thing that you're going to notice is that your toes are going to be all bunched up against the front part of the foot pocket. It's going to be too tight and feel really uncomfortable around the heel strap, and then your foot's going to feel like it's being squashed at the sides. So I know if I put this flipper in the water that my foot's going to cramp up almost instantly. So yeah, this one, too small. This next flipper is one size too big for me. So when I try it on, the first thing that I notice is that it goes on really easily. Now, the second thing is if I shake my foot, I can actually feel the flipper rattling around on my foot. So that means that there's too much space in the foot pocket, which means that the flipper is going to rub, and it also means that if the lip hits the heel strap, then it's going to pop off too easily. So for me, this flipper is too big. Third time lucky, this is one of my actual flippers. I know it fits pretty much perfectly, and I'll show you why right now. So it goes on reasonably easily. If I give it a shake, the flipper doesn't move around. It's not pushing into the sides or to the bridge or into my toes. The heel strap touches my heel all the way around, and I can actually feel the flipper all the way around my foot. So the key word here is snug. Okay, you want to look for a snug fit. Not too tight that it's going to cramp your foot, but not so big that the flipper is going to move around on your foot and you're going to end up with fin rubs. Another important thing to consider is that your feet do change shape. There's a few different things that affect this. So if you're standing, then the sides of your feet actually expand or move out. If you're kicking with your flippers on, then the sides contract, making your foot narrower. There's a couple of other things as well. Water temperature can also play a big part. If you're used to surfing in colder climates and then you come here to Indonesia, then you'll find that your feet will swell up a little bit. Another one is travel. If you've been on a long haul flight, you'll also find that your feet expand a little bit, and this too can affect the way that your flippers fit. The last thing to consider when you're looking to size up your flippers is socks. If you plan on wearing socks, and a lot of people do, then make sure that when you try your flippers on, you've got your socks on as well. You don't want to end up with a pair of flippers that are too small when you've got your socks on. The other time that socks are really good is if you find yourself between sizes. So you can try on a pair of flippers that are slightly too big, have a pair of socks on, and you never know, you might end up with the perfect fit. So, a question that I get asked all the time is what brand of flipper is right for me? I can only speak to the brands of flippers that we carry here when people come and do lessons or rent from us. As a rule of thumb, if you've got a wider foot, I suggest you look at brands like Limited Edition, Stealth, and Viper. If you're like me and you've got skinny kangaroo feet, then check out Pride and Blunt Cut as good options. For people that have really sensitive feet, I've found that Hydro-Tec 2s and pod fins always seem to be a winner. The best thing that you can go and do though is go down to your local bodyboard shop, or even better, bodyboard school, because they can take you out and you'll learn some stuff, and try on as many different brands as you can. The other reoccurring question that we got from our Instagram post was symmetrical or asymmetrical flippers. What's the difference and why should I choose one over the other? So we'll start with the asymmetrical flipper, which I've got one here. So the idea with an asymmetrical flipper is that you're creating a longer single rail in the water. You want to create a single rail that goes from the nose of your board all the way to the tip of your flipper. By having that longer piece here, then you're creating a longer rail, which is going to give you more speed and more traction in the wave face. On the flip side of that, you've got symmetrical flippers. Now, these ones are great if you have knee, hip, or ankle problems, because the force from you kicking is evenly distributed over the joint, so it's less likely to cause problems. Symmetrical flippers are also really good if you're a drop kneer, because you don't have that long tip that's going to hang over the nose or the rail of your board and is likely to catch water. Another interesting question we had was regarding the softness and rigidity of your flipper. The more rigid your flipper is, generally the more power you're going to generate, but it's also going to put more stress on your leg muscles. On the other side of that, the softer your flipper is, the more comfortable it's going to be, but also it's not going to generate as much power. So it's up to you. You've really got to find your own balance as to how soft or firm you'd like your flippers to be. So in our Instagram post, we had a number of comments regarding limited edition flippers. So we took the opportunity to put some questions to Shane Britton, who is the owner of Limited Edition. I've got his responses here. I'm just going to read the questions and then the response. First question, is there any difference in the rubber compounds with different colors? Some people feel that the blue and yellows are softer. Shane's response, different color pigments react differently with the 100% natural rubber compound, which is why you find there are some variances. Plus, we use 100% natural rubber, all compounds within a 1 to 2% tolerance, so they are all reasonably similar. How similar are limited edition flippers to the original Malaysian rubber Churchills? Shane's response, our fins are produced in the original Churchill factory in Malaysia. The factory uses only A-grade 100% Malaysian rubber, and as far as I know, we are currently the only flipper being manufactured in that factory. And then we asked him, is there any other information that people should know when they're buying flippers? Shane's response, comfort is everything. So guys, there you have it. If you want to find the perfect pair of flippers, you need to look for a snug fit. We recommend you try on as many pairs as possible, and that if you can, try them on in the water. If you want a drop knee, or you have hip, ankle, or knee problems, we suggest you go for a symmetrical shaped flipper, and remember, comfort is king. In our next video, I'm going to show you guys how Compeed pads and sports tape changed my life. So make sure you stay tuned for that video. If you've got any questions about anything that you saw in the video today, or you've got suggestions about any new videos that you'd like to see, please put them down in the comments section below. We will get back to you and we really appreciate it. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe to our channel. If you didn't like the video, please like, share and subscribe to our channel, and maybe share the video with someone that you don't like. Anyway, thanks for watching. We really appreciate it and we look forward to seeing you next time.